Welcome to the Belong, Grow, Serve podcast. This is Carolyn, and today I'm with Catherine and Ashley. Hi.
Hi
Hello.
there.
So I just want to begin with first, what led you both to ministry?
I feel like I have naturally just always been in ministry, even in a volunteer capacity, especially in high school, I guess, mainly. I was in a United Methodist church. I've been United Methodist my whole life. And we had a children's ministry and a youth ministry that was really struggling. And so when I was in high school, I helped build up the children's ministry. And then once I got to college, I went back to my childhood church and helped grow a youth ministry there. And then when we moved, I got married and we moved up here to the Orlando area. Just always tried to find ways to plug in and serve the church. I love church, and it's messy and it's people and all of people's messiness, but it's one thing I'm really passionate about is just Christ's church and serving. So didn't start working formally for a church until about 6 years ago in children's ministry officially, and just never left.
And then for me, like, kids have always gravitated towards me, I feel like, my whole life. And then in high school, I was always babysitting and doing all that stuff. And then I also have always been in a Methodist church, and that has been like my safe space always. So when I was in high school, in my youth group, I was like on the leadership team. And then I started working when I was like 16 in the nursery at this church. And then as I grew up, I kind of grew up with the kids I was with. So then I started teaching Sunday school classes and just kind of was plugged in wherever needed here. So I did the Sunday school classes, and then I did Wednesday night children's things for a little bit, and now I'm working with the youth and the children with Catherine. But I've always just been involved with the children's ministry here.
So Sunday's a big day for both youth and children ministries. So Catherine, if you could tell me a little bit about Children's Church and what all that is.
Yeah, so when the children come to church, they stay with their families for the first part of the service, which I love. I love that they can sing together as a family and have the call to worship. Then we go up for our children's message, which I prepare and really love doing that. And then we all go to children's church. And I run children's church with a godly play style. And so godly play is a Montessori approach to Christian education. It's not a curriculum. It's more of an approach. And godly play empowers children in their faith and believes that children are very capable of having a relationship with Christ. And so we teach the Christian language and the Christian story to children and give them the opportunity to embody it and to just grow their own faith. In godly play, we sit in a circle, and I started off by building a prayer collect with our prayer collect board, where we build a you, who, do, through prayer. That is a name for God, which is the you, a who, which names an attribute of God, a do, which is something we're asking of God, and then through, which is the prayer's closing. So the prayer would sound something like, Lord Jesus, who loves us no matter what, walk close to us each day so that we can grow more like you. In the name of Jesus, amen. Creator of the world, who makes the sun shine each day, help us to hear the lessons. In Christ's holy name, amen. And so that pattern of prayer, just embedding that into children so that they learn how to pray. And then we change the calendar. We have a circular Christian liturgical calendar in our classroom. So we move the arrow to point to the Sunday that we're in and talk about the seasons of the year, like Advent and Lent and Easter and growing time. And they're all looking forward to the red dot on the calendar, which is Pentecost coming up, and just counting down to that day. And then I tell a story, and we wonder about that story. A lot of times, I think a Sunday school lesson for children can be a lot about teaching them something. And in Godly Play, it's more like introducing them to something and almost allowing them to do some of the teaching. And so anyway, it's an approach I learned about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've really been captured by it. It's actually one of the things that connected me with Pastor Heather before I was ever connected with this church at all. Pastor Heather had learned about it in seminary as well and introduced it to a couple of her churches. And so through learning about Godly Play, I learned about Pastor Heather and contacted her, and we were talking about and getting trained with Godly Play together before I ever even knew about Little Tuscaloosa over here. And so Godly Play is something that I'm really passionate about and really thankful that Pastor Heather is too, and that supports that approach.
Yeah, that's when we met too.
And that's when we met. That's right. Ashley came to the Godly Play training and also loves Godly Play. So, but Godly Play is not what we're doing with the youth. What are we doing with the youth, Ashley?
That's what we do Sunday mornings. Then we come back at 5 on Sunday nights. And sometimes there's children there too, but the youth are steadily there. And we start our nights. We use Orange Curriculum, which has different sections that they use in each of their curriculums. And I try to do those in our own way. So they start with the prelude, which we typically have some kind of interactive bulletin board that they can fill out. So for Lent, we had them filling out what they were giving up each week and something they could pray for. For Advent, we were doing something based on the week that it was for Advent. So we do something like that each week to kind of get them in the headspace of church, like you're here. Then they do a social aspect, which we do our highs and lows every week. The youth all share their best part of the week and their not so best part of the week. And during that time, we also eat dinner. We have a volunteer bring dinner for them every week. It's a really good way to help the youth. If hanging out with kids isn't your style, bringing dinner is really great. Then we talk about the story. So that's when we normally go through the Bible story. The way that Orange has it set up is that the leader would preach that to the youth, and the youth would kind of listen in response. But the way we do it at our church is it's kind of a conversation between me and the youth, because there's so few of them that we're just always in conversation. So we kind of work our way through the story. The youth will read the verses and we'll talk about what that means and how that's affecting us in our lives. And then we normally go to questions and some kind of activity, and this is called groups in the Orange Curriculum, but we stay with the same group. But then we do some questions on a scale from 1 to 10, how does this make you feel, kind of thing. And we normally do some kind of activity, whether that's like making something to take home to remember what we did, or something to further share their feelings about what we just talked about, or something like that that gets them interacting with the lesson. And then we do worship, which Alex Lilly, the temporary worship leader, will do music. And then if the children are having something on Sunday evenings, that's when we'll get back together and all do worship together. So it's a really great time that the children and youth get to worship together, and it's not watered down for the children or the youth. It's just a nice time of worship, and everyone enjoys that. And then they do the home section, which is where we send them home, and we normally tell them about their upcoming events and everything, and so that's what we normally do.
Yeah, and the kid part on Sunday nights is just seasonal. So they were a children's choir during Advent, getting ready for Christmas music, and then we just also finished having the children for the last 6 weeks during Lent, and then they did Easter music for us. So it'll just be youth again on Sunday nights, but it was really awesome with the kids as well. Everybody had dinner, everybody worshiped together, and then they did their own individual programming. So, and that was thanks to Cassie Morales and Alex Lilly and lots of other helpers for running the children's part of Sunday nights. But yeah, that comes around seasonally, and it's been really successful.
It's been really good for them to be together, because it also bridges the gap between our 5th graders that'll be in youth next time, and they get to spend time together. It's not just like a hard break between children and youth.
So is youth middle and high school then?
Yeah, but our youth group is all middle schoolers.
Middle school, okay.
6th and 7th graders.
Yep, and then we're going to get some new 6th graders coming up.
So
We've
we'll
counted at least 3 or 4 of them that will be growing up into the youth group. So It's a sweet group of about
It's a really good group.
7 or 8 that are kind of in and out, but usually we always have 5 or 6 on a Sunday night, which is a great size for a small group.
And they always show up to our special events too.
Yes.
So apart from Sunday Children's Church and Youth Group, you just came from Storytime in the Park, Catherine. So you do that once a week.
Yep, Tuesdays at 11 at Redbug Park. And yes, I just came from there this morning, and there were about 15 babies, and then their parents, moms or babysitters or grandmas that bring them. And that's been really successful. So only 2 more weeks of that for this school year. We end at the end of April. So
Yep.
it's going really well. I love it. It's so fun.
What do you do there?
Great outreach. I do stories and puppets and scarves and shaky eggs and songs and books and poems, and the kids just really love it. Bubbles. It's just so fun, and getting a lot of engagement with that. So
I need to bring Austin.
yes, 2 more weeks.
Yeah, 2 more weeks. And then, Ashley, you have a ton of stuff planned this summer for the youth. If you want to go into all of that.
Yeah. Well, first we have a movie night at the end of this month, the 28th. We have a movie night.
Yes,
for
Mighty Ducks.
everyone to come in the sanctuary, watch a movie, have some popcorn, hang out. And then on the May 21st, we have a pool party, which is when the 5th graders are going to join the youth. We're really excited about that. And then during June, we're going to go to camp for a week. So during the summer, I work at Warren Willis Camp, and kids can come for overnight camp for multiple weeks during the summer. We're not going to go as a church, like load up in a bus, but we are asking all our kids to come for the same week. So that's going to be June 19th to the 24th. We want all our kids to be there and experience it together, and it's going to be a really good week. It's a really great camp. They do worship every day. They have small groups, and it really gets kids out of their comfort zone, but in like a healthy way.
Yeah, Warren Willis is literally the best. Like, I had the best time there as a kid.
It's a really great thing. I'm excited. I've been a counselor the past 2 summers. I'm excited to have our kids there.
Oh, they're going to love that.
Yeah.
And I'll be there that week. I'm staying the night. I'll be the chapel speaker for elementary camp. And so, yeah, it'll just be fun to just see them experience camp. Like, I don't even have to miss it. Yeah. So cool.
And then in July, we're going to have VBS, which that's Catherine's domain, but that's July 10th to the 14th. We're asking the youth to be there as volunteers, and they'll have some sort of celebration on Saturday once it's over, to thank them for helping the whole week. And just, I remember in youth group VBS being a really fun time to spend with your friends, but also like a good time to connect with God in a different way than you did when you were a kid, by helping and being there for the kids.
Yeah, they get just as much out of it,
Yeah.
if not more, those helpers.
Then August 5th and 6th, we're going to have a youth weekend where they're going to stay here at the church. They're going to go do things in the community to help either people at our church or just people in the community. Plans aren't finalized yet, but we're really excited for that. And that'll be the kickoff to youth group starting. So that's a Friday and Saturday. The week before school starts up again, we'll have them go out into the community all day Saturday, attend church Sunday morning, do some more stuff on Sunday, and then they'll be there for our regular youth group time on Sunday. We'll have a normal youth group, and that'll be the start of the school year youth group. So that'll be really exciting.
So youth group then will end at the end of the school year and take a break over summer.
It'll end that
That pool
May
party.
Oh,
21st pool party. That'll be our end of year party, but also our 5th graders joining.
Yeah.
And then
Those
Any-
summer events will keep them plugged in.
yeah, so those are our big summer events, and then we're gonna add game nights and movie nights and skate nights. I know my parents want to go to Top Golf with the youth, so there'll be little events like that added in. Just gotta check the calendars to keep you updated.
That's right.
But we're not having any steady curriculum over the summer. We're just having fellowship events, invite your friend kind of events. We really want the youth to feel comfortable here and bring their friends.
And Catherine, you have a lot going on. You have the 33 Little Pigs coming up.
Yes, we have 33 Little Pigs coming up. This is the Tuscaloosa Community Theater's next production. And it will be, the show will be Friday, May 26th in the evening. The kids will be working on it starting this Sunday, April 16th. And looking for cast members. So we need kindergarten through 8th graders that can email in a 30-second video introducing themselves as an audition. But every kid will get a part. So the auditions are really just to place them in a good role. And then they'll show up on the 16th and they'll learn their role, get their script, and hopefully we'll get going. I haven't gotten a lot of video auditions yet, so hoping that this all works out. So spread the word and get your videos in. They're due this Saturday at 2 o'clock, so April 15th.
And that week of the performance is the kids' final week of school. So
yes,
on those half days, you'll have somewhere to take them.
Some extra rehearsals on those half days, yes.
Anything else over the summer events-wise? Well, VBS, that's huge.
VBS will be the big one, yes. And then, just coming back for big kickoff in August.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up then. Thank you guys for talking with me today.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hope you have a great day.